If I told you that artificial intelligence was about to change manufacturing forever, you'd probably believe me. The data's there, the technology's there, the investments are massive. But here's what most consultants won't tell you: AI doesn't fail because the technology is bad, it fails because the culture can't handle it. I'm talking about the plant manager who's been running operations the same way for 20 years, looking at an AI prediction model and thinking, that's not how we do things here. I'm talking about skilled operators worried that machines learning might mean they're not needed anymore. I'm talking about leadership teams investing millions in smart factory tech, but forgetting that smart factories need smart culture. I'm Shay Blackman, and on today's episode of Unlock, Empower, Transform, we're diving into the real challenge nobody's talking about: how to bring AI into manufacturing without breaking the culture that makes manufacturing work. Here's what I've observed after more than 2 decades in manufacturing. We're absolutely obsessed with the wrong problem. Leadership teams spend millions on AI systems, predictive maintenance, quality detection, supply chain optimization, legitimate investments. The technology works. But then implementation stalls, adoption lags, the ROI doesn't materialize, and everyone blames the technology. The system doesn't integrate well with our existing infrastructure. The learning curve is too steep. The data quality isn't there yet. But here's what's really happening: the culture isn't ready for what AI actually does. AI removes ambiguity. That's its superpower. It says, your maintenance schedule is inefficient, or your quality process is inconsistent, or your staffing model doesn't match demand. It doesn't ask permission. It doesn't soften the message. It just delivers truth backed by data. In a culture that's built on experience, tradition, and that's how we've always done it, that's terrifying. It's not because people are resistant to change, it's because change is threatening the social order. If an algorithm knows better than your 20-year veteran operator, what does that mean for hierarchy, for respect, for job security? That's a culture problem. And it's the problem AI can't solve. Most companies try to overcome AI resistance the same way they've always handled resistance to change, from the top down. Leadership mandates, town halls. Here's why this is good for us. And it fails every single time. Why? Because manufacturing culture is built on respect for competence, on trust earned through decades of knowing what actually works on the floor. You can't mandate respect for AI the way you can mandate using a new ERP system. There's a manufacturing organization I'm aware of that invested heavily in AI-driven predictive maintenance. Smart decision. The system could forecast equipment failures days before they happened, preventing costly downtime. Incredible ROI. But the maintenance team saw it as a threat. If machines predict problems, what happens to the intuition they've spent years developing? What happens to their value? So they ignored the system. They documented problems differently. They found ways to work around the recommendations. After 8 months, they abandoned the system. 6 figures wasted. Not because the technology failed, because the culture resisted it. The real resistance isn't about the technology. It's about identity. It's about competence. It's about wondering, if machines can do what I do, why do I matter? And that question needs to be answered at the culture level, not the technology level. So here's what actually works. And I've seen this framework succeed in manufacturing environments where traditional AI implementation failed. First, redefine what the AI does. Not to workers, to yourself first, and then to your leadership team. AI isn't replacing competence, it's upgrading it. An AI maintenance system doesn't replace your experienced technician, it gives them superpowers. Instead of discovering problems through experience and failure, they discover them through prediction. They shift from reactive to preventive. That's not a demotion, that's a promotion. This language matters. It matters more than any change management training you could buy. Second, start with the problem your team has been frustrated about for years. Not a problem leadership wants to solve, a problem the front line knows is broken. Maybe it's production downtime that nobody can predict. Maybe it's quality defects that slip through despite checks. Maybe it's scheduling that never matches reality. Find the problem your operators and technicians complain about in the break room. Then show them how AI solves that specific problem, not as a corporate mandate, as an answer to their own frustration. Third, involve your frontline in the solution, not as implementation subjects, as co creators. Let your operators help train the AI. Let your technicians define what good looks like. Let your quality specialists validate the predictions. This does three things. One, the AI gets better data and becomes more accurate. Two, your team understands how it works, which reduces fear. Three, and this is critical, they own the solution. It's not something being done to them, it's something they're building. Fourth, create a transition narrative. People need to understand what their role becomes. If AI is predicting maintenance, the technician becomes an AI validator and strategic maintenance planner. If AI is detecting quality issues, the inspector becomes a quality strategist focused on root cause. If AI is optimizing scheduling, the planner becomes a capacity strategist. These aren't smaller roles, they're different roles, more strategic, more valuable. But people need to see that pathway, not guess it. Fifth, start small. Pilot. Prove ROI with a specific team, a specific process, then expand. This isn't about volume, it's about momentum. You need people to see success from their peers, people who've always done things the traditional way, before they'll embrace it themselves. And finally, maintain what's human about manufacturing. AI is a tool. It's not a replacement for judgment, leadership, or the human skills that make teams work. Make sure everyone knows that. Keep the decisions that matter in human hands. Use AI for the decisions that can be better informed by data. Before you deploy any AI system in manufacturing, you need to know if your culture is ready. Not your technology, your culture. Here's what I recommend. Do a quick culture readiness assessment. It takes maybe 30 minutes for leadership to complete, and it will tell you what's actually blocking AI adoption. Ask yourself these questions. 1. Do your frontline workers trust management? This is the foundation. If there's no trust, they'll assume AI is about cutting jobs, automating them out of existence. If there's trust, they'll assume leadership is trying to improve operations. Without trust, AI adoption is nearly impossible. 2. Do you celebrate learning from failure or do you punish it? Because AI creates a lot of learning opportunities. It makes predictions that don't pan out. It identifies problems nobody saw coming. If your culture punishes mistakes, people will hide problems instead of learning from them. If your culture celebrates learning, AI becomes a tool for continuous improvement. 3. Does your organization have psychological safety? Can people speak up if they think an AI recommendation is wrong? Can they question whether an algorithm is being applied appropriately? Or does hierarchy mean that if leadership says the system is right, people just comply? 4. Are your frontline people engaged in decisions that affect them? Or are decisions made by leadership and handed down? AI integration is a decision that affects everyone. If your culture doesn't include people in decisions, AI adoption becomes another "this happened to us" moment instead of "we built this together." 5. Do you have managers trained to lead through change? Because AI is disruptive. Managers need to help teams navigate identity shifts, skill transitions, and new ways of working. If your managers are command and control oriented, AI adoption will feel like chaos. If they're coaching and communicating, it feels like evolution. These questions aren't about technology readiness. They're about culture readiness. And if you're weak in these areas, AI won't solve it. AI will expose it. This is where the Shield Resilient Strategy Guide becomes critical. The framework walks you through building psychological safety. That's your foundation. It teaches you how to create cultures where people can speak up, ask questions, and navigate change without feeling threatened. Because that's the environment where AI doesn't become a threat, it becomes a tool for the team. Here's what I want you to do this week. It's a quick exercise I call the AI Culture Audit, and it will tell you exactly where your organization stands. Step 1. Ask your frontline workers this question, anonymously so they feel safe being honest. If we implemented an AI system in your area, what would concern you most? Not, what do you think about AI? Just what would concern them. Step 2. Listen to the actual answers, not what you assume they'd say. What they actually said, write it down. Step 3. Ask yourself, is this concern about the technology or is it about trust, job security, change speed, or being heard? Most of the time, it's not about the technology, it's about culture. Step 4. Share those concerns with your leadership team. Not to be defensive, to be honest. Say, this is what our people are worried about. How do we address this concern before we deploy AI? Step 5. Build your response around culture, not technology features. The response isn't, the AI does X. The response is, here's how we're going to make sure you're included, that you understand what's happening, that your role evolves in a way that values you. This is the work that actually moves the needle. This is also the work the Shield Resilient Strategy Guide walks you through, building the psychological safety and trust that makes AI adoption possible instead of frightening. Here's what I want to leave you with. AI isn't the future of manufacturing. Smart culture is. AI is a tool. It's a powerful one. It will optimize your operations, prevent downtime, improve quality. But it can't build teams. It can't create trust. It can't develop leaders. It can't answer the question, why do I matter in this organization? Smart factories without smart culture are just well-organized chaos. They're optimized processes with disengaged people. They're efficient systems with high turnover. They're predictive maintenance with reactive leadership. The competitive advantage isn't in the AI. It's in how your culture embraces, learns from, and evolves with technology without losing the human elements that make manufacturing work. This is what high-value leadership is all about. Building cultures where people want to stay, where technology enhances rather than threatens, where change is led, not mandated, and where overlooked talent finally gets to shine. My book, High Value Leadership: Transforming Organizations Through Purposeful Culture, walks through this framework for manufacturing and automotive environments specifically. The High Value Leadership Intensive course takes you deeper. It's where we do the real culture transformation work, where you learn to lead not just smart factories, but cultures that are ready for what smart factories demand. Before you go, download the Shield Resilient Strategy Guide. It's free. The guide walks you through the psychological safety framework that makes AI adoption possible instead of frightening. In a world where technology is moving fast, psychological safety is your competitive advantage. While you're downloading, leave a comment. Tell me, what's the biggest concern your team has about AI in your manufacturing environment? Is it job security, change speed, trust in leadership, uncertainty about their role? Your comments inform what we talk about next, and I read every single one. Next Thursday, we're diving into something most people don't talk about in professional settings: the sandwich generation at work. If you're a Gen X leader, and most manufacturing leaders are, you're managing up to boomers, managing across to millennials, maybe caring for aging parents while raising kids. It's the double duty dilemma that's burning out a generation of leaders. You won't want to miss that conversation. If you're serious about building a culture where AI adoption doesn't require choosing between technology and people, the High Value Leadership Intensive course is where we do that transformation work. We'll teach you how to lead your organization through this shift without losing the trust and engagement that make manufacturing work. Until next time, smart factories need smart culture. And smart culture is built in the conversations you have, the trust you establish, and the future you create for your people. So go unlock, empower, and transform.